Hey Vanessa, today I'm here to do another video in the exclusively pumping series here on my channel, and today I am doing a basics video. What I wanted to do was give people who might be new to exclusively pumping or an expecting mom who plans on exclusively pumping, I wanted to give you one video to start with. So if you are new or you're planning to exclusively pump, start here. This is a good place. I'm going to give you the information you need to get started for these next 12 to 14 weeks. When it comes to these different topics, because I have 15 different things I want to tell you guys, and I'm going to try to fire through them as fast as I can to make this video pretty painless for you guys. But I did want to say that I have made videos that are in depth to maybe some of these points, if not most of them. So I will have in the drop box down below, I will have a video that coincides with the points if I have one made. I will also be linking my entire exclusively pumping playlist. I have, I think, over 30 videos, I think, when I last checked. So I do have a ton of different videos. There's a ton of different content that I've done on exclusively pumping. So if you don't hear me talk about something here, if you're looking for more like tips and tricks or must-have, something like that, check the Dropbox links. I will have a ton of different videos, and like I said, check out the playlist if nothing else. So to get started, like I said, I have 15 different points I want to go over. This is a guideline for you. At first, it's going to be a little rough, but in time, you will make this all your own. You will find your own way through things. You will find what works best for you. Oh, this reminds me, I have everything on my laptop because I created a Google Doc for you guys. I have infographics to go with some of these things that I'm going to talk to, but just for the sake of this video not getting flagged, I put those infographics in the Google Doc. So if you're interested in seeing that, check that out. Even still, if you just want something to reference late night, make sure that you save this Google Doc and you guys can see it and use it freely as you want. So the first and foremost thing I want to tell you, flange size, it matters. Now, if you're an expecting mom, don't worry about this just yet. You want to wait until you're postpartum, obviously, and that is because swelling can do a number of things to the body, and your nipple is no exception. So you want to make sure that you get your flange sized. I highly recommend joining the group Breast Bottle and Beyond on Facebook. The admins there can size you. So I will have that also linked down below. That's not going to be the last time you're going to hear me reference that group. You want the tunnel in your flange to be big enough to freely move your nipple about without any kind of rubbing, but you also want it to be small enough to keep it semi-straight and centered and also stimulate you. Too big, too small, both come with their own complications. It's not fun either way, but you can find a nice middle ground. That's why it's so important for you to make sure you're using the right size so your nipples being stimulated, you're getting the most out of your milk output, and you're not in pain, because that's really important. Number 2 is lubing your flange. This is where you take coconut oil and you put it in the tunnel of your flange just a little bit. You also want to keep it in the tunnel part of your flange. That way your breast can still create a good suction and your boob's not like slipping all over the place, because it can get a little crazy if you get heavy with that coconut oil. This is just going to help with a comfort aspect. It just helps with any friction you might be feeling, and it'll just make things super comfortable for you. Obviously, when you're more comfortable, your body's going to be more encouraged to release that milk. So make sure that you're doing that. Number 3 is massaging while pumping. This is also really important because it can actually double the amount of ounces that you're putting out right now. If you are not being hands-on, you're not massaging your breast, you want to make sure that it's not rough. You don't want to be tugging and, really pulling at your breast or anything. You want it to be nice, soft, gentle motions, but you want to encourage milk flow. It'll help the milk come out. I'm currently enrolled in lactation courses, and they say this time and time again to make sure that people are hands-on pumping, because it can make a world of difference. Number 4 is use nipple balm after your pumping sessions. This is important because you're putting your nipples through a lot. They're going to be sore anyways, whether you've done this 1 time or 3 times. Your nipples are generally still pretty sore in the beginning, and you're also putting them through a lot. So you want to make sure you're taking care of them, and nipple balms can help a lot with that soreness, and it also keeps them moisturized, which is obviously really great. My favorite ones are Honest Co and Angel Momma. I will say Angel Momma has a cocoa scent that my daughter did not care for. So if you're finding that to be a problem, try the Honest Co. It doesn't have any scent whatsoever, and I really liked both of those. Number 5 is you want to use APNO, which stands for All-Purpose Nipple Ointment, on any cracked or bleeding nipples. This is a serious thing. Obviously, you have an opening on your nipple that is not supposed to be there. It's going to be super painful. They are just 110% not fun. I've had my own rounds with cracked and bleeding nipples, and I'm sorry if you're there, mama, but you want to make sure that you're taking care of that. You want to treat it before it turns into something worse. So all-purpose nipple ointment, or APNO, is something that you can actually make from ingredients that you can basically find at Walmart, Target, Rite Aid, any kind of drugstore, grocery store. These places will have it. So I will have a video that I've already made linked down below for you guys on the recipe for that. It's 3 simple ingredients. There is a pharmacy version. However, most insurances, and I'm talking as an American here, do not cover it. So you'll probably pay like $60 out of pocket, which is a little ridiculous, seeing as though those 3 ingredients don't cost $60. So I would definitely recommend checking that out. Like I said, check the Google Doc or check out that video. I mentioned the recipe there. I also want to say, if you are experiencing cracked and bleeding nipples, make sure that you're making an appointment with somebody, you're reaching out, you're finding support to troubleshoot and figure out why you're having that cracked and bleeding nipples, because that's not normal and that is a sign of something that's wrong. Number 6 is make sure that you're pumping every 2 to 3 hours daily and 3 to 4 nightly. I know this sounds like a lot. It's going to feel like a lot at first, but trust me, you do get into a routine of it. I also want to mention you won't be doing this forever. I mean, there are some people that do that and they do it for months and months and months, and good for them. However, you don't have to. A lot of this stuff we're aiming for the first 12 weeks postpartum. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, but it is crucial. Your milk supply is created by demand. So if you're not demanding milk, your body's not going to make it. You want to send the signal that you need a frequent and regular supply, and doing that kind of pump schedule is going to show your body that, and it's going to do its best to supply it. Number 7 is something that I get asked a lot and I want to make sure to mention, and that is to start the timer for your next pump session at the end of your previous one. Now, a lot of people get this mixed up with the nursing recommendation. The nursing recommendation, which is something I'm sure you've heard, is that you start your timer for the next session at the beginning of the one that you're currently at. That is for baby. That's making sure that you're feeding your baby every 3 hours. And that's totally something that you should follow. You should keep that up for your baby's feeding schedule. However, for pumping, the goal in pumping is to empty your breast frequently. Well, it doesn't make sense to start a timer to empty your breasts before you've already emptied them. In case I'm not making sense, I want to give you guys an example. If you start pumping at 3 p.m. and you don't finish until 3:45 p.m., you want to set your reminder for your next pump session between 5:45 to 6:45 p.m. just depending if you're going every 2 to 3 hours, depends obviously. But I wanted to throw this in here. I know I'll get a lot of questions about it, and it is really important. It just helps you go a little bit longer in between pumps. Number 8 is make sure that you're emptying at every pump session. We are constantly making milk, so you will never get 110% empty. However, you can get pretty close to that, and that's the goal here. This sends the message to your body that you need every drop of milk that it's producing for you. If you don't empty and you're leaving milk inside your breast, your body is going to signal that she doesn't need that milk that she left. I'm going to stop making it, and you're going to slowly see a decrease. So it is very important that you make sure how to empty. Just talking about this subject, I know that I've made a video on how to make sure that you empty thoroughly, probably because it's my most recent EP video upload, so I will be sure to link that in case you're wondering on how to make sure that you're empty, how to gauge if you are. I cover all of that, so make sure you check out that video. Number 9 is do not skip your middle of the night pump sessions. I know you want to hate me for this, but it is really important. Prolactin, which is the milk-making hormone, is the highest in your deep sleep hours. For most people, deep sleep is between 1 to 5 a.m. If you're somebody who works graveyard or midnight shifts, this is going to be different for you. Basically, whenever your hours of deep sleep are is when your middle of the night pump should be. It's just really important to take advantage of those high prolactin levels. Some people even see an increased output during those hours. I never personally did, but I know a lot of other women have, so it's just very nice to take advantage of those prolactin levels. Make sure you're staying on your pump schedule regularly, so those middle of the night pumps are super important. Number 10 is all about your pump. Now this is probably going to be the longest section because there's just a lot of different things that I want to throw in here. Again, I've probably made more specific videos, but I just want to fire some facts at you guys. First and foremost, make sure that your insurance company, speaking to Americans here, does not cover an insurance pump before you pay out of pocket for it. A lot of insurance companies have to provide some kind of coverage over one now. Also, make sure you know your pump. Make sure you know what features it offers, especially if it offers a thing called two-phase expression or a letdown phase. Some even call it massage. What this is it's mimicking baby's natural sucking pattern. It sucks really fast at first to simulate milk, and then it does more long, drawn-out sucks to express milk. This will help you create a letdown. It can help you get more milk. It's just really beneficial. You get a lot of questions on when to hit that button. Hit it if you feel it necessary. If it's been a while since you've had a letdown, hit it. If you're just sitting there and nothing really special is happening, hit it. You know, it's not a bad thing to hit that button. You're not going to do anything bad by it. Also, make sure that the pump works for you. Asking your friends is a great way to get ideas about what pump to use. However, just keep in mind that every woman's preference is different, and breast pumps are absolutely no exception. So if you're wondering on what breast pump to get, I will have a video down below, which I feel like I keep saying that phrase over and over again, but I go over the different circumstances and what pumps I recommend for each one to kind of give you more of a broader sense of a recommendation. Try to keep extra parts around, that way you're not constantly washing pump parts. Also, in case any kind of random damage occurs or if something breaks, if you forget some, stashing them at different places is a good idea. I kept some in my car for the longest time just in case I forgot to pack some. Keep some at work just in case you forget, stuff like that. Also, I recommend replacing membranes that go on valves or duckbill valves every 4 to 6 weeks if you're an exclusive pumper. Most companies don't recommend it unless there's damage. However, those things are so small and it'd be hard to see something like a tear from a fingernail happen. So it's just good to replace them every 4 to 6 weeks. I know it's a pain, but it actually could help your output. Number 11 is know your rights. I'm mainly speaking to Americans here because I am an American citizen, so that's really all I know. However, I do encourage everybody to know their rights, especially when it comes to breastfeeding. In the United States, every state has their different laws and regulations when it comes to pumping in the workplace. Make sure you know what yours is. It's also a good idea to go to a website, print off your rights, keep it handy in case you come across somebody who's maybe not that educated and doesn't know them. So I definitely recommend that. I will have a website linked down below. You can find your state, you can print off the information about it, and like I said, keep it handy. Number 12 is breast milk storage guidelines. These are really important. It's just something that you need to know when handling your breast milk. And I did want to say that these are guidelines. It is going to be different for every woman. My breast milk might not last as long, or it might last longer than the woman next to me. It really just depends. Unfortunately, it's probably going to take some trial and error. That's just kind of the sucky part of this. The guidelines are for freshly expressed milk is between 4 to 8 hours. Refrigerated is 5 to 8 days. Cooler bag is 24 hours. A fridge freezer that has a separate door is between 3 to 6 months, and a deep freezer is 6 to 12 months. Now, I have used my milk well past these guidelines. I've also had my milk not last to those guidelines. Like I said, it really just depends. Just try to follow those generally and do what you're comfortable with. Number 13 is a hands-free pumping bra. Now, this is such a necessity that I wanted to dedicate an entire little part of this video to that. Whether you DIY one or you buy one, invest in it, whatever, I definitely recommend it. Especially if you have more than one child, it's just a good idea. Hands-free is always great. Number 14 is support. This is going to be a long road. It's going to be really hard sometimes. It's going to seem lonely sometimes. You are single-handedly nourishing another child. So not a whole lot of people, especially around you, might not understand what you're going through. Myself personally, I am the only person in my family or my friends who has exclusively pumped. So I was pretty much on my own for a lot of it. I don't have a ton of relatives who have even breastfed, and those are the ones who have, they just kind of breastfed during different times. I don't think that there was as much knowledge as there was behind it now, and unfortunately I just don't share that many like similarities to really talk to people about. So when I was struggling, when I was down and out, I came to a couple different places. I came here and you guys are amazing. So if you need to, go to the videos that I've made that pertain to what you're going through, check the comments, talk to somebody. I'm sure somebody's going to be helpful. I also went to Breast Bottle and Beyond, that Facebook group that I've talked about. There's also an exclusively pumping group. I've talked to girlfriends. You just need to surround yourself with people who support you, whether that be a significant other, a family member, a friend, a La Leche meeting, whatever it is. Find your support and really lean into that. Really quickly before I hit the last topic, I did want to say I do know that there's people out there that have significant others, family members, friends, co-workers, whoever it might be, that are not supportive of their breastfeeding journey. And I wanted to say you are not alone. I know that there are several women who are in your place. These might be people in your life that you're not comfortable distancing yourself from. You don't feel that that's necessary, and I totally understand that. I will say that I would just encourage you to lean into the support that you can find. There is an army of women behind you who support you, and I just wanted you to know that. Number 15 is to trust, believe, and have confidence in yourself. This is something that took me a really long time to understand, and especially when it came to my decisions as far as breastfeeding goes. There's a lot of people who will not understand. There might be some people who want different things for you, you name it. There's always going to be somebody with the opinion that you could be doing something differently with your breastfeeding journey. And I just want to say you need to focus on you and what you know and what you want. There was a lot of people who thought I should nurse instead of exclusively pump. When I was exclusively pumping, there was people who wanted me to wean. When I wanted to wean, there was people who wanted me to still exclusively pump. You are never going to please everybody, but the good thing is that you don't. You are doing this for one person, and that is the child that you're nourishing. You are not here to please Sally Sue down the street who has an idea of what your life is like. You know your body best. You know what's good for you. You know what's good for your child. So if that means supplementing with formula, if it means weaning early, if it means donor milk, if it means exclusively pumping, exclusively nursing, pumping and nursing, anything in between, you do you. You worry about that. Don't worry about anything else. Breastfeeding is hard enough without having to worry about other people's opinions, and it's gonna be hard. I'm not gonna sit here and say that people have said things and it has never gotten to me, because of course they have. However, I've chose to take the energy that I might have spent upset by that, and I turn it right back into how can I channel this into my breastfeeding journey. If somebody was upset that I was exclusively pumping instead of nursing, I've tried to figure out a better way to perfect my routine. Whatever it was, I just try to channel that energy right back into breastfeeding. I was not gonna waste my energy on somebody who just doesn't get it. So those are all 15 of the basic things that you need to know about exclusively pumping. Hopefully this video wasn't too long. I did want to kind of make it as short as possible for you newbies out there. Like I said, I will have a ton of different videos linked for you guys. Make sure that you're researching, that you're looking out, that you're just get yourself prepared. Make sure you're joining Facebook groups, you're finding support, you're leaning on people. Take a class, and that honestly probably should have been one of the things I recommended. I definitely recommend taking a breastfeeding class, especially with your partner. Your partner can be a huge help. I've seen a lot of repeat questions over the years. I've seen a lot of people not know where to start, so I just felt like I'd make a basics video. If you stuck to the entire end of this video, thank you. Thank you for putting up for my voice. I've been very, very sick for the past week. I am finally well enough to talk to a camera. So yeah, if you have any questions, leave them down below. I will do my best to answer them. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks for watching.